Episode 8 for April the 5th, 2018. This is Positively Negative.
Wow.
Hello.
Wow.
Hiya.
Hi. I want to turn the heater off.
I can't hear you.
I want to... Really? Because you're blasting.
I can't hear you at all.
Oh, boy.
No, I can hear you, but I can't. I can't.
1, 2. He's struggling.
I'm on the struggle bus.
He's on the struggle bus.
Oh,
and
my
he's
back.
got a headache and his back kind of hurts. And he's laying down because he can't sit up.
That's the best thing about podcasts. You can
Struggle bus. Sorry. Where was I?
It's alright. It's good. It's
You can be vertical and horizontal in
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a very flexible medium.
Yeah, you're not on camera. You don't have to be professional.
You
don't
even really have to be wearing pants if you don't want to.
Well, I might take them off. I'm just happy to be horizontal at the moment.
Just saying no one would know.
It's been a while since we did the last one. Sorry. But either motivation or just time and a place or pains or focus or something. One of those things somewhere combined. Oh, my head is banging.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of like sunshine, oil, lack of ATM machine screens.
Yeah, well, like sun and alcohol always gives me a headache.
A bit of a rush. Yeah, I think I was really lacking water this morning. I think I woke up completely dried out. My insides completely dried out. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it happens, especially when you sleep with a heater on. I remember, I know it sounds so lame, but I remember the first time I ever experienced a humidifier in the winter. I was like, this is what it's like to wake up and feel like a human. You almost feel like you wake up with a hangover in the winter. It's just so much dry.
You said
I
about
can't even open my eyes.
You said about winter this morning. You were like, feels like this time that you've been over. It's like been.
It's been a rough winter, man.
I don't
But
think
it's
it
been
has.
rougher in the States, so I guess I got off easy.
Yeah, I don't think it has really.
I just missed the sun. There's been no sun.
Yeah.
Be cold all you want, winter. Be cold, but like the clouds, man.
Grey.
It's a big bummer. You don't get your vitamin D.
Grey and rainy. Whereas today it's going to be reasonably warm till about 7 or 8 o'clock, which is nice. It's just the right temperature as well, with a nice kind of breeze to it.
Yeah, and you can hear the birds probably. They're digging it.
Yeah, they were this morning. Apart from that one that sounds like a bloody car alarm, I want to strangle it. I don't like that bird.
There's one that just screams. It doesn't even chirp, it just screams. And then there's one that sounds like R2-D2.
Yeah.
It's like beep beep boop beep boop beep boop beep 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 beep.
Yeah. Bella, what? Maybe what?
I appreciate the wildlife around here, though,
Yeah.
even if they're loud.
It's nice and quiet. Bella is over tomorrow. She's on, like, I don't know what holiday it is. Spring, Easter, can't be bothered to go to school holiday. I don't know which one it is, but she's not at school tomorrow. And then Steam Camp UK is on Saturday.
Yay!
Yeah,
You mean
yeah,
Steam
yeah.
Camp. Yay!
I actually think I've been, we've been kind of trying to push it for Lloyd and post about it or comment about it, but
Yeah.
I actually think 20 people was enough.
Yeah.
If there's 20 odd people there, I'll be quite happy to
I mean, no
get
matter
around everybody.
what size a group is, if the place is big enough, people always cluster into groups of like 4 or 5 anyway. So, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
even at how many people were at Steam Fest in Portugal?
Oh God,
A couple hundred? Yeah, but I don't think I was ever in a group of more than like 4 or 5 people.
And it's funny how you find your people.
Yeah.
I think when the smaller groups though, you kind of get like 4, people tend to float between all the groups to just see which is their group.
Yeah.
So they can data mine. No, it's not like that. But sometimes it can feel like that. It used to do when all the social media things I used to go to. But I don't do
I
any
don't
of
think
that
it'll
anymore.
be chill though. I think it will be. I think it'll be really nice.
So the woman at the post office said she had a parcel for me today.
No, she said to me,
Do you
"There's
want a
one
parcel?
for Philip as well. Is Philip here?" I was like, "Oh, Philip!"
Yeah. I came walking around the corner
Cracked
with
me up.
8 ciders under my arm. I've got everything sorted between 5 and 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And she's like, I got a parcel for you. The particular parcel that she had, which should have been from 2 months ago, which I just thought Amazon had lost. So that was kind of a surprise. It's been a bit of an odd day today. I guess just because running out and getting back and the sunshine and kind of doing... I think it's just lots of different changes. When you don't have anything that has any legacy to it, it's kind of... It started off really weird. I posted about it this early afternoon. It's like I got into town and pulled out some glasses from Amazon dropship, which then I put on my face because it was sunshiny. It was almost like AI had gone, Philip, your parcel is waiting for you for your entertainment for the day.
It's gonna be sunny.
So that was an unknown. The only known was breakfast, and then after that it was kind of like unknown oils, unknown face creams, unknown
Dragon's blood oils.
walk, and then just going to Zen and like doing coffee shop stuff from there. Never worked from there before, so that was super fast internet, but like I don't know, a lot more thoroughfare than I thought.
Yeah, it was kind of busy. I mean, it's also like it's a perfect place to bring your kids when they're off of school. So we probably hit it on the wrong week.
Yeah.
On a typical I think we were up there by 11 a.m.
I'd like to go in there and just say to the owner, just go in with a tenner and just say to the owner, I want you Ron Swanson it a little bit. Say, I need you to bring me chips and coffee every hour until 2 o'clock. I will have my Bose headphones on. I reduce the world around me to 0.
Please and thank you.
Just nod and wave. Please and thank you.
I mean,
bring me all the halal bacon you have.
Listen, if you're gonna be like that, you gotta drop more than a tenner on the table.
No, it's cheap in there. It's kind of cheap. I'm only gonna be there for
the demand
2 or 3 hours, maybe.
Concierge chip service, but the food always smells real good in there.
That's not always an indication of it being good, Mama.
Well, we had chips there. They were good.
They were alright.
Oh, here we go. The Positively Negative.
That's where the mic goes there.
Boy, it's so loud in my ear.
Well, then turn it down on the right-hand side, top right-hand corner.
This one. That
one, yeah.
This one?
Turn it down, yeah.
Turn it down. Turn it down for you too?
Yeah, it's the same port. But as long as those lights are flashing green, like you can see me flashing green.
Yeah.
Can't see you flashing green.
Well, there I am. Bang!
Maybe you need to turn yourself
You're
up.
Here.
Maybe,
I'm here.
Maybe you need to turn yourself up a little bit more.
I'm here.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
Probably not that much. How much have you got? You got the same line as me.
Slightly. You're maybe at 1 o'clock. I'm at 2 o'clock.
Okay. Fair enough. That sounds about right for Time Lords. Out of sync. Different time zone.
Yeah, well, the days are getting longer too. Like, it'd be getting dark at this point in the day, and now it feels like midday. Feels like, what time is it?
It never feels like anything in here. About 6 o'clock, isn't it?
It's 5:30. It feels like, 12:30 in terms of the sunlight. So I feel like we did time travel a little bit. We got a ton done. By like 1 o'clock, I was like, oh, okay, pretty much wrapped everything up I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And we got some more shopping in, and then got on the bus.
I keep putting these glasses on, and I just cannot see anything with them. They're the wrong glasses. The sunglasses. I'm looking at the timer. I have no idea.
Oh, we just hit 9 minutes.
And you could probably hear kids knocking about, but it's because it's everybody's off school. Everybody's having these extended breaks, bringing vans left and right over different fields nearby.
Yeah, and the occasional doggo, which I appreciate, being in the presence of a doggo.
We meditated today as well.
Yeah, in the sun. I feel like it's extra powerful when it's in the sun because your brain produces dopamine in the presence of sunlight.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I've had some trippy no substances required. I've had some trippy feeling meditations before. And I've heard that your brain can produce its own THC.
I can't believe that. I don't believe that.
Positively
I don't
negative.
believe that at all. You're just going to sing that every time
When you,
I'd say something negative.
every time you're a grouch. Yeah.
I can't help being a grouch. I'm that age of a man.
Oh, stop.
I am. I'm at that age.
Of a man.
No, I'm an age where I'm just like cranky pants. Everything makes me cranky. There's no rhyme
You
or
had a beautiful
reason.
day of sunshine, oils,
That's it. Blame it on
breakfast.
me. Yeah. Oh, you did it wrong again. Yeah, it's your fault. You're making it bad now.
No, I'm saying you had a lovely day. There's nothing in the world to be negative about, except
I have a
maybe.
headache.
Well,
I'm pretty
all
negative about that.
Right. All right. Well, I'll
So,
give you that because when you're not feeling well, everything's got a little bit of a
edge
cloud.
to it.
Yeah.
I'll be alright in a bit. It's just like you say, it's water.
He needs some aqua.
I also feel like I wish I had some more momentum to get back into some work. I really want to start knocking out this theme. I want to take the colours and the branding and all the graphics that I've got and start
The
making it.
OBS theme
Yeah.
for streaming. Yeah.
But it's like 5:30 at night. I kind of like get to a point in the night where I'm just like, oh.
Why don't you get some assets together and start
I've got all the assets. So now today, when I was in the coffee shop, I kind of listed the order of what I need to make step by step. So I've just got to drag and drop the colours on it, find the colours of the actual graphics, like the hex code of it.
Yeah.
And then decide the design layout. I've come up with an idea of how I want the 10 items to appear. But do I want to animate that, or do I want to just have it static, or do I want it as a movie?
Yeah.
Do I want to HQ it and have a cool top 10 kind of music thing?
Isn't that please behind the soundboard we can use?
Sure.
The best HQ impression I've ever heard.
I can't do the rest of the
Oh my. Oh my. Oh, who you fighting? Well, listen, if you need how do you usually get the hex codes for stuff?
Oh, here she goes. I have an app that I run in the tray
Oh
bar.
my gosh, I don't have an app or first of all, Mr. Steam Hunt, you're the one who's got a tool for everything.
Oh,
A number 1.
baby.
Now I'm getting negative. B number 2 is just gonna say, if it's a faff for you, I use Photoshop, but you can just drop them into Canva. No, you can't. Damn.
What are you on about?
I'm trying to think of a fast way for you to get the hex codes
Dead
of
easy.
the colors.
Dead easy.
How do you do it?
I'll drop it in a Keynote.
You can get hex colors from. Oh, they have an eyedropper tool in Keynote.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks, Keynote.
And then I just store them in the panel there. Just store the colours in the panel. I've got all the Steam colours in there, the different
So
blues.
what are you whining about? I gotta get the colors.
I'm not whining about anything. You were about to tell me a tool that I didn't need. It's
Oh my god.
pretty much every day when I look on. It's third time. About ready to give this up. Not enough.
Well, listen. I'm just trying to inject a little happiness. Your eyelashes look nice today.
Boy puts glasses on.
Oh, wah.
Where? Oh wow! This salt lamp looks different. Looks like
Oh, really? With your glasses on?
yeah, it
With
looks
your
like something
sunglasses?
Superman has brought back. It's very, very dark orange. It's like a rock of eternal strength.
Wow.
Actually, it's out of sync a little bit with these glasses on. It's kind of pulsating
They're
at
like
50
a
hertz.
phase variance? Oh, boy. I didn't know that rock salt had a refresh rate.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was a great day. I think it was productive. I'm just thankful that we just got out and we got some oxygen. And the walk back was a little bit rough because you were carrying all the groceries and your laptop and 8 bottles of cider. I was carrying my stuff and a big box of wipes, baby wipes. It was a bit of a hike at the end.
It was a bit of a hike at the end, but you
But
just got
it's
to
good. It's good for the lungs and the heart. Get the heart pumping.
just got to double down, ain't you?
Yeah. Came back, cracked the drink open, and sat outside for a little bit. Had some meditations.
I want to watch a film in a bit for sure.
What are you thinking? Do you have one in mind?
I've got a few little ones. Yeah, I don't know which one I want to pick. There's a couple of new ones that I've seen. Yeah, I'm still in logistics mode, if I'm honest. Like, I know I've got to get. I know that Ella's coming over. I know I've got to get a cab sorted for Saturday morning, even though we've booked it and stuff. Like,
Sure.
just a lot of logistics still floating around, and also like when I'm in this headspace, when I go to any event or like gather or conference or meet up, I'm still like, you know, all right, I've got to take food. What time's the last train? You know, there's loads of
Yeah.
unconscious stuff going.
Well, I don't know if you got my invitation, but I started putting some of it in trip case
Okay.
so that we can like I don't know, for some reason I like trip case because it allows you to just focus on the next step and step through,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
still
even though
like
we
to.
don't have that many like transfers and
I still
crazy
like that. I
things.
still like it to have in my head.
Yeah.
I like to be able to change things up. I like to be able to like map it all out. I don't want to have to rely on technology and the phone battery going or some shit like that. It's good for little notifications like you have to go here, you have to do that. Don't forget this
Yeah,
is
and
the
like
address.
addresses and things that you just
Addresses are
don't want to
huge.
remember.
Yeah,
Or phone
that's
numbers of
huge.
places.
The addresses are huge. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Not spons.
other than that, like I'm pretty like my brain is pretty like pretty vacant right now.
Yeah. I feel just relaxed. I think it was the sunshines.
I'm having some of that more of that CBD oil in a bit. It tastes like carpet. It tastes like it's weird. It's a weird
Really?
taste. Well, it tastes exactly what chewing on a piece of like skunk weed would taste like.
Like a hemp leaf, but
Yeah,
like not dried out, like the actual leaf.
yeah. It's weird to have it in liquid form. I would definitely say that for somebody who has anxiety or stress or don't even think about having it just because you're like, oh, I'm gonna have it because it's gonna like have a high hit or something like that. It's not for that at
It's
all.
like,
It's for
but and also it's 2%,
well,
some
it's two point seven
fraction of
five.
a percent.
No, but it's 2.75% cannabinoids rather than THC. So it's
Right.
CBD rather than THC. So
Right, and then they just use hemp as the carrier oil, which you can buy hemp seeds all day
sure,
and chew
yeah,
on
yeah,
them. You know, obviously.
yeah.
So
And they're actually good for you. You should have them in your food and stuff.
yeah, they're a superfood. When I
Mm.
was doing vegan, it was like a big source of protein for me. Hemp seeds.
Yeah.
Just chuck them on whenever I was eating. They don't really have a taste.
So yeah, I'm into that. Like I'm interested in knowing what that's about.
How do you feel like it'll affect your anxiety though if it doesn't have the THC?
Well, the THC is a psychoactive, so
Right.
that's more like a high, whereas the CBD I feel like is the other way. I feel like
Like a
it's
suppressant?
yeah, I feel like that. Well, not real. Yes and no. Yes and no. I feel like CBD cannabinoids are more receptor based.
So they're blocking certain things
I
or
don't know if they
inhibiting.
block. Here's the thing, though. I don't think it's just sheerly a block thing. I think they're actually over time because if you look into the oil,
Mm-hmm.
say that you really should build up your immune system to it. So a couple of drops a day, and then you build up your result. It feels to me like it's something that, like over time, becomes like almost like a carrier inside your body to be able to. Because people have it, yes, for pain relief, sure, but they also have it, and people have over time said that things have cleared up. Like people who've had minor, there's no such thing as minor cancer, but like people who've had like some serious situations have had cannabinoids, very high, 15% CBD and higher actually, and a lot of their pain and inflammation, and there's probably about 4 or 5 different attributes that can be accountable for having cannabinoids. I don't know where I stand on the whole idea that cannabinoid CBD can cure cancer. I don't necessarily believe or know enough about that, but anything that I've ever read about people who've said it's been a game changer, I mean, that's worth listening to, isn't it, and find out about.
Was there anything mentioned about how long it has to be in your system or how long you have to regularly take it
I
before
think
you
it's
start
different.
seeing
I
things?
think it's different. I've
Noticing
seen
things?
things in general, like what?
Na, 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 na,
3
na,
caravans.
na, na,
No,
dinosaurs in the
I think it
mist.
depends on the person. I think it depends on the person in terms of their body and their body weight and their
Sure.
I have no idea. I have
Yeah.
absolutely no idea.
Yeah. It's tough to know. It doesn't seem like there's very much of it out there. It's hard to find, and it feels like sometimes the information is a little bit obscured because you have to weed through the extremes on both sides. The people who think it's a, as with anything, turmeric, anything. There's people who think it's a total cure-all, and then there's people who think it's a hoax.
Don't do anything at all. Yeah.
So you have to kind of like wade through that.
I know. I'm just interested. I'll be honest. I'm just interesting from. I've got like multiple hats on. One, I'm always interested in something that like has been something that I hear about from lots of peer groups. Like if I've over the years, I would say over the last 10 years, I've heard it from smokers, from scientists, from people messing around with it, people trying to extract it and put it into like like slate, like see-through oils, and then kind of putting it. There's a reason why people are playing with that stuff. There's a reason why they're scientifically playing with it. The U.S. government in the sort of 50s was growing great big farms of it, and then they stopped. There's obviously reasons why it's such a powerful, seed, powerful attribute. I don't know. I'm interested from a blogger's perspective. Something new to blog about and talk about. How does it make me feel over time? I don't like taking anodins and paracetamol, man-made stuff. I'm all down for like things that was already growing.
Yeah, but you gave me a lot of shit over turmeric. And that
In what
just
way?
grows.
In what way?
You were like, what is this turmeric? I don't know about this. I don't want to
When
be
did
taking
I?
a million things.
No, I didn't say that.
Yes. Yes, you did.
No, that's maybe.
Like,
No.
I don't want to spend my whole life taking supplements, which I agree with you. No one
Yeah,
should want
because
to
it
take
started
their whole life
because it
taking
started off on
supplements.
one. It started off with one supplement, and then we've got like 3 or 4 of them.
No. We
I
don't.
practically rattle when I move back. I'm like a old man submarine.
I think. Well, okay. I stopped on the cod liver oil. I think this is good. I feel like we should do like a supplement breakdown. I didn't feel a difference with the cod liver oil personally, but the clicking in your shoulder stopped, right?
Yeah, my joints felt better.
Yeah. So maybe, like, for me, I could go either way on that one. Turmeric, I feel like, helps a lot with my lower back, that one pinched nerve spot that I always have.
Huh.
When it flares up, it doesn't seem to be as extreme.
Yeah.
That's also could be attributed to the fact that, like, we're moving more and we're getting out more because we're through, like, the worst of the weather. But I really haven't been doing yoga the way I usually do, and my back's been pretty good.
Yeah.
And, so I would keep going on turmeric. Would you buy turmeric again when the bottle?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. And then ginkgo, I didn't see any difference with ginkgo. We did ginkgo biloba, I think.
No, ginkgo leaf.
Ginkgo leaf.
Yeah.
I didn't feel mentally sharper or really anything to do with the ginkgo personally. Would you rebuy the ginkgo?
No, probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not, but like I feel like there's been times where I've had that and coffee and thought my bloody eyeballs were going to fall out.
Well,
because like I feel like I don't know if it was like a trigger or it was just. There's been times where I've had like vitamin D and something else, and then I've had a coffee and I've been like, literally my body's been
or
going
at
like,
night.
what have you just had? Like what? No, I think that that night one is having the primrose oil, in the oil,
cod liver oil.
Yeah.
It has evening primrose oil. I think that keeps you up.
I think that keeps me up. Yeah. Like,
Really?
yeah.
That's
I think if I have it too late on in the day, I think that's what keeps me awake, or like stops me from sleeping.
Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of this stuff is blends, and so like you could be taking, I want to take cod liver oil and this and this and that, but they each have like extra vitamin D.
But
and
I think like,
do you need that?
Yeah,
or what?
exactly. But I don't. I think it's better off to like have it all mapped out. I'd rather do one of those 23andMe things because I think I overproduce vitamin D and vitamin C anyway, and that is a common thing that people like have different genetic makeup in terms of their bodies.
Sure.
Like, I don't know how it is, but like when I was a kid, when I was in my like teens, if I had too much of a certain tablet, I'd break out in a rash. And the doctor told me, well, you're already producing enough vitamin C that you're having too much of it.
Vitamin C makes me real nauseous. If I take that's why I was never able to do multivitamins. If I had it on an empty stomach, I would feel like full blown, almost motion sick, like where I had to sit down really, really bad. Yeah, but I don't know if I would hope that 23andMe does that, but I think they just do like heredity. I don't know. I would love to find some type of like.
I don't think they do.
Because you have to get like a full blood work or something.
Yeah, but you still have to. You send blood into him, don't you?
No, you spit in a tube.
I'm not into that. You have to like. I want a blood.
Yeah, we need a blood work.
Yeah, they need a blood work one where it breaks it all down and says like you're probably deficient on this, or you're gonna end up like getting a this. You've got more chance of getting this.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I don't want some spit in some tube. Like, cheap 99p. It's like buying a £99 app.
No, I think you spit in a plastic tube, you mail it to them, and then they tell you, like, oh, 30% of your genes are from West African origin.
I'm not interested in that.
Yeah, we need, like, medical help.
How much money have you got to be like, oh, you have 4%? I can tell you that.
People do it for YouTube videos. That's the only thing that I've ever seen 23andMe actually used for, is so that they had content on their YouTube channel.
Oh, you're 25% lethargic. Oh, fantastic. Thanks. Something I already knew. Brilliant. Thanks a lot.
No, I think, well, yeah, and then what they'll say is, well, I know that I'm 100% German because my grandma told me and blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, oh, you're actually 32% West Indian.
Yeah, don't get into religion and money and education. You'll wind a lot of people up very quickly.
It's not religion, it's just geography. But
just geography.
Yeah, but
yeah, that's another thing that's happening. Africa's splitting into two.
Two what?
Continents.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, geographically? Like plate tectonics?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Fuck.
There's a big crack through it the other week.
Sorry, that was NSFW
no, it's alright.
language.
There's a big crack through it.
Which way? Longitude or latitude?
It's not different than
I'm trying to visualize if, like, is the tip gonna fall off, or is it just splitting like half and half?
South Africa. I'm not talking about my life. Yeah. There's no tip falling off, dear. No, I think it's vertically, and I think it's on the right side of Africa. So whatever that's called, I don't know what it's called. But it's like there's a whole like part of it just slowly like.
Wow.
See, big cracks in the ground, like just opened up.
Whoa.
Yeah, have a look. I put it in the bloody Flipboard, which is smarturl.it/positive.
Nice. I didn't know you set up a smart URL. So if you want to see some of the articles that we talk about, that's where they are. And also, I think you can see other past things that we've talked about.
Yeah.
The thing is, babe, like, you'll add about 47 articles at once to it, and then
I'm a very prolific reader. I like to. What are we doing here? Otherwise, if we're not like informing ourselves about things in life,
just I'm slow.
Okay. Well, that's why I put them there, so you can read them in your own time.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I did want to talk about, actually? I made notes about this a couple days ago. Was about I read an article on there that said that it cost farmers more to raise a young cow, especially if they're male, because the dairy farmers need female cows. So I guess a bull. So what they're doing is they're just killing the baby boys because they're not getting enough for them at auction, and it costs them more money to raise them, keep them alive. They only need a couple males to keep breeding like the stock. So the state of the farming industry is such that it's cheaper to actually kill them and not even sell them for meat, just completely kill them and dispose of them than anything else, because the demand for cheap meat and dairy is just so insanely high.
I don't know.
And it just makes me think a lot, and this is not meant to be any type of moral high ground or guilt trip, but I just can't. I have a really hard time with the value of a life having a price tag that's so low. How can that be? Like,
what do you mean, how can it be? It's just the state of the human condition that we're at in life and society now, is that, unfortunately, there's a lot of those things that I feel like there is an expendability index to the way that life is operated in these days, and it kind of I've been frustrated with it my whole life. My whole life I've never been able to escape the visibility of it. Maybe that's the point. Maybe the point is it has to be visible before you have an opinion on it. But like, I feel like all of those things are pretty much out of my control. It's like, I just want to see things on Instagram and things that you can change the world. Yeah, well, change your own world first. Change your locality, where you are, what you do, what you eat.
Sure.
Like, if you don't like those things, then you should cut them out of your life.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of my lead-in to say that, we still eat meat on occasion. We made a chicken curry last night. But we've really switched. I would love to know, like, just out of curiosity, the metric of how much pork and beef products we saved by eating a lot of the corn brand stuff and the Linda McCartney stuff over breakfast.
I don't know if we've saved like anything.
I'm not saying in terms of saving lives.
No, on
but
a grand scheme. I would say the biggest problem with that is it's all very well not eating meat and hoping that industry will fall on its arse. We won't until we really talk about greed and capitalism in this future world that we live in. And I know a lot of people are up for capitalism still. They think it's the best way forward. That's your opinion. It's up to you. We're still overproducing it, and it's still on the shelves, and there's always stuff on the shelves that gets marked down in price, and then if somebody doesn't pick it up, it gets chucked in the bin. So you still have a recycling problem. Like, the shelves are full of I don't know, there's always meat. There's always meat. So like the amount that they're killing is ridiculous amount of. If you look at the whole process of the water and the feed and the transportation and everything, but the thing is that ecosystem, it's almost like its own Bitcoin in a way. Like it's something that needs to be kept alive. You know, people have different investments in that whole machine working. So until you change that from a perspective of people looking past their own backyard as to how it influences or affects the whole world, nothing's going to change. I mean, if you really want to be a futuristic new age blockchain blogger, then start eating bugs and start telling people how healthy it is for you and how much weight you've lost and how it's made you feel different, because I'm damn sure that they're putting so much shit in the meat and food these days. So I need a wee. You're gonna have to hold.
I'll take over.
Just hold it, but don't put it near that mic.
Can I double mic it or no?
Well, see what it sounds like. Won't suggest it, but just like.
Wow. Hi everyone.
How do you feel about it?
I feel like I'm holding two microphones and it makes me doubly powerful. How do I feel about it? Well, I feel a lot of different ways about it. I wasn't raised in any type of like vegetarian or vegan conscious environment, which is not a slam on my parents or anybody, but it just wasn't something on my radar growing up. I remember, we had like a middle class family, and my parents were looking for a deal, and they were looking for a way to stretch a dollar just like anybody else's. So it was never really a thought. And I think the subconscious thing is that, like, well, if it was that bad, the government would stop it, or they wouldn't allow it, or if it was that harmful for us, then it wouldn't be able to be sold. But we kind of understand now that that's really not the case. So my biggest thing is if greed and money fuel industries, then my biggest way of voting on what I care about and what I don't care about is with my dollar. So I try to be conscious. I'm not out here like dumping paint on anybody's coats, anybody's fur coats. We're just having a little chat. Welcome back.
I just had one of those one of those epic wheeze where I didn't think it was ever going to stop.
Wow.
I was kind of concerned about it for a minute. I was like, am I going to get back to the podcast, or is it going to be like 45 minutes in and we're like, I'm still in the toilet, I'm still draining myself? No, I think look, it takes all of us to make those little incremental changes, and it can take decades, it can take centuries.
What I was talking about is voting with your dollar. Voting to support certain things or not support other things is important. Even the fact of even if you're not 100% vegan or 100% meat free, which we're not at the moment, even giving those dollars to companies that are interested in making alternative changes in the way that they produce things.
I have a question.
Is important.
I have a question for you. So if maybe that's the problem, maybe we've got hooked up in the wrong thing, saying that voting with your dollar. Well, what if there is no dollar? What if it's like, the Federal Reserve just prints whatever it wants whenever it wants, right? And we kind of generate money. But what if the value of how a human being lives and eats and fuels themselves and, empowers themselves, what if that exists inside of a blockchain, a value economy blockchain, right? And there is no voting with your dollar. It's literally, if you're part of the greater good, you're working towards something bigger than yourself. It's not purely then an acquisition of money thing. It's about the value of us collectively living better helps this next batch of people. Like, there's not a money. Maybe the money attachment is the issue. I know I'm not.
So how? Like, I agree. See, I have a little bit of a different standpoint on the capitalism thing. I think capitalism works, but what I think we experience on a day to day is not actual capitalism.
Works too well.
That's what I'm saying. The true conservative, not conservative, I don't even want to use that word, but the true original definition, in my opinion, of capitalism is that the people decide what they want with their dollar. And when people decide, oh wait, that company screwed up because of the way they treat children, or the way that they exploit workers, or the way they exploit
but they still find
animals,
another way to do it. So that's where it falls flat for me.
Because the government is subsidizing things.
We can't just get. This is the problem. This is why I've disconnected from the whole system. In a way, is that it's just a loop. It's just something that people say now. It's like a soundbite. Capitalism is this. The government did this. It's like.
Wait a second. Okay, that's not entirely fair. Like, that's not what I was saying in terms of, like, I'm saying when companies are propped up when they shouldn't be, then that's taking the power away from the buyer. But
capitalism's always found this way of, like, empowering another bunch of guys to put stuff in our food and market it a different way and fire up another company. But that's all right because growth is good, right?
Right. I think that's a divergence of what capitalism has become, and that's what the version of it that we have today. But okay, think about it on like super, super small terms. You got 5 guys in a market square selling 5 different kinds of carrots. The one with the best product, who has the nicest staff, and who has the people who, whatever the experience is, the whole cumulative thing, that's the one that's going to hopefully rise to the top. Now, when you have people coming in and saying, oh, well, we'll just bolster this and you'll get seed funding for this, like, that's when things, I think, become crazy. I think that in values of companies become inflated where they're not supposed to be, which ends up screwing everybody. Big Connect happens. And then you're stuffed. I'm just talking about keeping things fair.
Best of luck with that. Best of luck with that. I don't know.
So, I don't know.
The only saving grace for me is something trackable, open, public, can be hacked. Not hacked, but like the information hacked together, like the blockchain, the ledger.
Okay, so how do you see the blockchain keeping? Let's say a company like Quorn, who is producing meat substitutes out of crazy spore technology. Right. How would the blockchain keep those people? Keep them hiring the best talent and the best workers and treating people right. I'm talking about on an actual logistics level.
You just give me the perfect example. You said, like, hopefully, and hopefully they'll do this. Hopefully the guy selling the carrots is giving us the best product in the with the blockchain. There is no hopefully. It just is. Mm-hmm. Like, so for instance, you could quite easily put together, or I'd like to see. Somebody like Quorn build a dust-to-dust ratio on the blockchain. So, like, where the fucking product came from out of the ground, how the ground was kept, like how it got from out of the ground, how much manpower was used, how much energy was used, how it was packaged, where did the packaging come from.
Yeah.
Like the whole fucking 9 yards.
Yeah.
We've got so used to just like turning up. We've been so used since the 60s and 70s of having everything packaged up for us efficiently.
Sure.
What happened to these? Like, surely it makes common sense. We just need to bring common sense back. Common sense needs to be fashionable again.
Yeah, Justin Timberlake needs to make a song about it.
Justin who?
Timberlake.
Mr. Trouser Snake? The guy who was in that film the other day, Wonder Wheel?
Yeah, but he would say,
we're
bringing common sense back. No, don't know how
switching
to
off so much.
So, fine, you want to talk about the movie? Let's talk about the movie.
No, I don't want to talk about the movie.
We watched a movie called The Wonder Wheel. It was great.
No, but that's what I would do. I would just use a blockchain for that.
For what? For communicating? For communicating or for fundraising?
Nothing to do with fundraising. Where'd you get fundraising from?
Well, if you're going to completely disconnect from capitalism and money, how do businesses stay open? A business like Quorn.
I haven't got that answer. You asked me how Quorn would use it. I said that you'd use it for the way I can immediately think of. I'm not a finance person at all. If I was, I'd have money and I wouldn't be doing a podcast probably.
Yeah, we could do a finance podcast.
Yeah.
That sounds terrible.
No, I would track the product. I would storytell around the product. I would try and improve that whole distribution cycle. It must have been an absolute clusterfuck to bring a mycelium product imitation thing to market. So tell me that story, because I have no idea.
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
discovered it? Like, who decided that? How much energy was used? Was it an
Yeah.
absolute mistake? Like, how do you prove?
How did you find out about corn, by the way?
Um,
I'm just curious,
I
like what
think
your
in the
point of entry
70s. I
was.
think in the 70s. So end of 80s. So
Really?
maybe,
It's been around that long?
yeah. So
What?
maybe 80, 85
Okay.
when I was a teenager, and we were just like, fuck that, I'm not eating that. That's like science food.
Yeah.
I'm not eating that. It's garbage. I want meat, burgers. I don't want that. That's rubbish.
Yeah.
So I think it's a palate thing, but I also think it's an information thing, and I also think that doing the right thing by, there's just so many factors, and it all depends on what kind of person you are. Like, do you enjoy the idea that animals are getting killed? Do you enjoy the fact that we're putting out methane? Do you even care about the climate? There's just like it's so multifaceted about impact. I've even had people, when I've said, oh, I'm just trying to cut down on this and this, and that's why I use an electric bike. I'm not, even had people in a bar kind of been up in my face and kind of give me attitude because I'm just trying to be different or better. Like, I've literally had people say that to me because they don't understand it or don't want to understand it or just think it's a farce or a joke. Like, just because I have an opinion on it and a choice about it,
Right.
I've been meant to feel like an outsider because actually it threatens that sheep culture of like standing outside of it. Because also, if you stand outside of it, people tend to look at you as if, what are you trying to prove? Or
But also, it's hard. I see both sides of it. I don't see being threatened by it, but I do see like a vegan is the perfect example where like when I wasn't eating meat or dairy, I didn't even want to use that word because it just was so like it's almost become a meme, like what the standard vegan person is and how they're judgmental.
I don't look at all that stuff.
Sure, you don't, but a lot of people do, and so, or even like any label,
I don't look at that
So
stuff.
when people have preconceived notions about like, oh well, you must be, I remember in the States when it was like crazy if you drove a Prius. Like,
That's just because of the way that your system's stacked up with advertising and marketing, though. Like, you're convinced that this musician's good or this car's good or
that's only in America, folks. Only in America.
Well, we don't have Sky Mall on the planes. We don't have a Sky Mall magazine.
Yeah, but you love it
who needs that fake wall to put keys in? Just put the key on the top of your bloody wheel. What's wrong with you?
Marshmallow gun. Hydraulic marshmallow.
I tell you what, if Trump really wants to solve this problem with the trade war, just get rid of Sky Mall.
I don't even
The amount of crap that's being bought from Sky Mall via China is garbage. Anyway, back to the point, or multiple points, is I think it depends on what kind of person you attach yourself with. Like if you've got to try these things out in life.
Sure. And also,
you've got to try them out.
I know for me, and I feel like I could probably speak for you too, trying those things makes me feel empowered, and it's my way of participating on my terms. I'm not the type of person who's gonna go personally, go hold a rally in a town square or, get involved in politics. But that is something, I would be open to having an electric bike, changing the type of car that I have. Oh, we got a little noise there.
I think it comes from. I think it also comes, especially from technologists like me and you. I think it also comes from wanting to have a simpler existence because of knowing how overloaded our lives are with technology and how much they can be consumed by it. Like, balance looks like that. That's what balance looks like. If you're heavy on the technology side, then why add to that by having like meat and all these other things that are adding more weight, not to your physical self but also to your health. Like but if you've ever heard the expression burning the candle at both ends, that's it. If you don't realise that, and then you get into 45 and your face is covered in spots and you've put loads of weight on, you're starting to have loads of health complaints. That's what burning the candle looks like.
Well, and that's a really interesting point because I feel like in a lot of ways we live kind of, I wouldn't say extreme, but we kind of live on more of the fringe of what we're willing to experiment with technologically. But in like the physical world, I feel we live pretty simply. Like,
Very simple.
right. Like, we don't have, like, 15 cable packages and,
No.
bills, and obviously
I have one
there's
big
life.
bill. I have one big bill really, and all I don't. We have little incidental, like short-term happiness kind of bills that kind of bring us some kind of value. But simple to me, trying to foster and aim towards that minimal life gives me a clarity to afford time for the rest of the world. And what I mean by that is I'm not caught up by the constant. I am caught up by the constant change and technology change in the way that looking at the world from the window of a bus, sits in my psyche. But I need to simplify one side of my life so that I have time to consider it. I feel like when you don't have time to consider it because you're caught in the rat race of this meat's on offer, and you don't have to go into a store and you can see like it's we need to push this and this is the price and people like this. Like the other day when we walked into the shop and it was like in the cheese section, and then there's a part where it's like bottom row is Budweiser, second row is chips, top row is
frozen pizzas.
Yeah, it's like it was just single male.
Yeah.
You own a flat, come in, drop £10.
Yeah.
No sweat.
Yeah.
Choice, option, no distraction.
Right.
So
convenience.
You can do that if you subscribe to that. That's on you. It's fine, no problem. Like, I'm not saying your life is better or worse or whatever. It's not on me. You know your body, you know your mind, or at least you should. So I have no governing over that. What I'm saying is the reason why I've tried to simplify is that I found that I know when I'm overdoing it.
Yeah.
And so cutting back and trying an alternative, and then talking it out with you a couple of days, like, how do you feel? Do you feel any better? Do you feel like you have any more clarity? I feel like it's an interesting one because it creeps up on you. You kind of, simplifying gives you more time to consider. I think that's where I was trying to go to.
Yeah. Well, it's like it's literally clearing out mental space. And I feel like even though on the outside it seems like our lives are very simple, which I think that's what you're talking about, is us consciously making that effort to keep them simple. If you go like 2 folders deep on my computer, it's like enough to make somebody's head swim. Or you and I will jump on our machines in 10 minutes while 15 tabs open. I mean, I feel like the level that we kind of, not the level in terms of like we're incredible people but just to the extremity to which we kind of deep dive the digital stuff. And maybe that's a personality thing. I've always been that way. Even when I was a kid, I was like, put me in front of a piece of technology, I'm like 10 feet deep.
But again,
but when you come up for air, like in the real world, you kind of don't want that. It's like when I shut my laptop for the day, I want things to be really simple. I want to knit a snood with my arms like a proper Quaker woman. I want to chop vegetables. Like, it's so therapeutic for me to cook sometimes because I can just like chop a damn vegetable, cut up some green beans, and do something in the tactile world.
It's why you watch a film, if you think about it. You're watching somebody's journey, right? You're seeing how something unfolds. I don't know where that sound's coming from, but there's like an alien receptor trying to like communicate.
It's contact.
Should have sent a poet. What is that?
Oh no, I don't know.
Hang on, let's see if it's this.
Bad. Whoa, wow. Ladies and gentlemen, Phil just put a bottle on an edge. It was about to. Oh, my phone's got all kinds of stuff on. Let me put it on.
Turn this off. I've to just put it into hands. Yeah, we should do that every time. I should know that.
Airplane mode.
Yeah, I should know that every time.
See if it helps.
What was I saying?
You're talking about why people watch a movie to escape.
When I watch a movie, I don't watch it to necessarily escape, but like I watch it and I rate it and I rank it and I like it because of the journey that somebody, the filmmaker, the actors, everybody who's involved with it, how it unfolds, and my relationship with the storytelling is how I feel like life should be. You should be able to always track back to different stages of your life and see where you've, and I guess we're always learning from everybody. People say about saving the world, just by being aware of it, taking part of that journey and acknowledging that journey, being respectful of other people's journey, you are changing the world.
Yeah.
It's when you just accept what the world has to offer,
Right.
and don't question if there's other stuff.
Right.
That's when.
Well, like, that's okay. So that's a perfect example that you gave, and also I really need to use the toilet soon, so maybe we should wrap up. But let me just say this quick.
Yeah.
That single guy section of the grocery store, the Coca-Cola, the frozen pizza, the potato chips, all in one aisle.
Yeah.
There's totally a time where, like, I would absolutely grab bang, 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 and it is convenient. But the difference, I feel like, and there's no judgment to anybody, like you said, but the difference is saying, when we walked past it, we said, oh, wow, single guy section. Like,
right.
Knowing that, and instead of just being on free play, if once I know it and I can identify it, then I have the power to choose if I'm going to participate and not. So it's not really about always or never. It's just about saying, okay, I understand what's going on here. I acknowledge that, like, this is a very curated experience, and maybe I can choose to participate and maybe not. And that's
right.
Having the option, having the choice, and the awareness is important.
The laptop's even telling us to get off now.
Well, laptop's on low battery, and we have 50 minutes and 50 seconds.
Yeah, I think we're good there.
I need to wee.
Right, we're going.
Yeah.
Lovely to talk to you. We're going to be doing our next podcast, episode 9, and probably do 9 and 10, actually, just have a nice round number. From Birmingham, Steam Camp UK this weekend.
Yeah.
We'll catch up with you soon. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
The podcast you just heard was recorded with Anchor. If you want to make your own, download the Android or iOS app completely free from anchor.fm/podcast. That's anchor.fm/podcast.